Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody's having a great day. For anybody who catches the replay, thank you for watching the replay. I have had a pretty easygoing, laid back Saturday, so that's been nice. I hope everybody else has as well. This is going to just be a pretty calm, laid back stream where we just kind of talk about things. There's some things that people have DM'd me or messaged me on like Twitter where they have talked about some kind of content that they wanted me to like start maybe looking into covering. So that's kind of what this live is about, where we can talk with each other. And if you guys have any input on what kind of content you want to see coming forward, I'm still always going to do commentary and, open discussions. But aside from that, if there's different areas or specific topics that you guys have seen and you want my input on, today's live is just to really talk about that. If you have any feedback for me in ways that I could improve my content or things that even criticisms, like I'm open to anything in today's chat just to better the content for you guys. You guys are the ones who watch this at the end of the day, whether it's a live stream or a video. You guys are the ones who engage with the content, and I want to make sure I'm always evolving. And I've kind of there's a few topics that I have planned to go over that people have asked me to talk about, but like I said, there's been a few people who have asked that I cover MLM stuff. I'm not a supporter of MLM companies. I've never really gone deep diving like I know some creators have, but I'm open to covering that kind of content, or if there's specific things. I know somebody had asked that I talk about the Gabby Hanna series that's going out, if that's something you guys are interested in. So I really just kind of wanted to bounce ideas off of you guys and see what kind of content you guys want. There's no pressure. If you guys really don't care and just want me to continue doing what I'm doing, that's fine. I do see myself kind of making a little bit more of a shift in like what kind of content I make. Lately, I've done a lot of general topics and then some commentary videos. And I think I'm going to shift more towards primarily commentary and talking about things like that, rather than all of these generalized topic videos, because people seem to, when I do a general video, people kind of seem to think that I'm trying to talk about people, and I'm not. I'm just talking about in a general sense, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it ends up leaving more questions than answers for you guys, and that's never my intent with my videos. So I think I'm going to shift from making that kind of content and more focus on commentary. And even if it's commentary that takes more research, that's totally fine with me. So today's just kind of like a laid back, talk about those kinds of things, talk about any grievances, if you have any with me and you want to talk about them, or if you're watching this on the replay and you want to leave any in the comments. I don't know if I've ever really made anyone mad before or made people not like me. I mean, if people don't like me, like I say, it's not a big deal, but if it's something that I could work on, I want to hear it. I want to hear it so I can improve myself, Criticism can go a long way. And if nobody has any topic ideas or anything like that that you want to see from me, we can just have a chilled, laid back, whatever kind of stream. I will say, if you're not new to my channel, a while ago, I did have memberships and I disabled them. And I said I would probably come back with memberships. What was happening? There were a couple of things happening, but the main thing was I was doing a lot more content for my memberships than I was for my channel. And it was because of how I structured my memberships. So since they have been deactivated, I have really been thinking about when I relaunch them, how I'm going to relaunch them. And that's also part of what I want to talk about with you guys tonight. I am going to relaunch my memberships, and I don't know if I should just launch at one tier where everybody gets all of the perks that are a part of that tier, like early access to videos, members only live streams. I'm not going to do what I did last time where it was like a weekly live. I'm not going to, that ended up really taking a lot of time away, but I want to, I want to allow people to have access to that again, because a lot of people, I know some people aren't going to believe me, and that's totally fine. But people who were really into the memberships and having extra peeks at videos and more vlog style videos I would upload for members when I would do anything, I'm going to relaunch that. So I kind of wanted to get the feedback if you guys want multiple tiers, and by multiple, I probably will only put out 2, or if you guys would be comfortable with just 1 tier, and it's not going to be super expensive, but it's also not going to be like $2 or $3, if that makes sense, because there is still going to be a lot of work going into it. But before, I think I had 4 different tiers, and each tier had clearly built on one another, which is what memberships, if you have multiple, do. But each tier had its own perk, and I was putting out 2 to 3 videos, and I was constantly filming, and it really started to become draining, and it was taking away from my actual channel. So I don't want to get myself back into that. I want it to be a perk where, yes, you will get some exclusive content and exclusive lives, but I don't want to end it up where it was before, if that makes sense. So those are kind of what I want to talk about today. I'm going to go through the chat and see everybody who's here, and if anybody has offered any suggestions or anything like that, we'll talk about it. Hey, Hot Wheel Sue, I hope you're doing good. Hey, Melissa Brown, it's just chat. You got the notification. You know, YouTube's terrible about sending out notifications, so I'm happy you got one. I'm also surprised you did. Hey, Jen Hobbs, you spent the last hour in the basement because of tornadoes. Oh my goodness. I hope you're okay. I hope nothing too damaging happened in your area. Most of you guys know I'm from Florida, so natural disasters I'm very familiar with. I lived in an area where hurricanes were a big thing. I lived in the Panhandle, so I know how scary that can be. Sorry for the light coming through the blinds. I can't get them to shut all the way. Hey, Jean. Hey, Kimberly, Roddy Mom. Hey, Tracy, you're just listening. That's awesome. They're more rare, but can happen. Any natural disaster is kind of scary. You like that? You like when I speak in general, and you think if the shoe fits, wear it. Yeah, and I mean, maybe I'll still do a couple of those, but lately that's been quite a bit of my content, and it's not as engaging unless you're in a lot of different areas and you just want to listen to something in the background. Those kind of videos are not extremely engaging, and it really, to be honest, doesn't bring new people in that often. I'm not saying it doesn't, but they're not captivating videos. They're just me talking, and likely I'll do a couple, but it's not going to be as heavy-handed as they currently are. Hey, Rarely Care, good to see you. Hey, Claire, have you thought of doing any kind of product reviews, makeup, food? So if you've been here for any amount of time, I have done like beauty content and a few different beauty reviews. The thing when it comes to like beauty content is you kind of get put in a box. You're either a part of the beauty content world or you're not. And if you're not a part of it and you do beauty content related videos, it seems out of left field for people. I do want to continue to do some kind of makeup videos every now and then, but I'm still wondering if that's going to be something that I put just for my members or if that's something that I'm going to put out in general, because I don't think I'm ever going to go back to where I do quite a bit of beauty content. It'll just be an occasional thing. So that's something I'm still trying to really iron out, if that makes any kind of sense. So yes and no. As far as other products, I'm not weird about eating online, but I am a person who sometimes, like ASMR eating, I can't watch. I don't like the sound. I'm one of those people who don't like the sounds of eating. If you're a noisy eater or anything like that, or you chew with your mouth open, no offense, it's just one of those noises that they literally make me mad. So I don't think I'd ever be comfortable filming myself eating. Household items, we've been established for so long that we hardly get any new household items. So the only thing I would really be able to like review would be makeup products or collection videos, which I've filmed before. So, I mean, I'd be open to it. Hey, Sally. Yeah, you can add memberships later. You can start with one tier and then add later. And that's what I did the first time. I just really went head first into my memberships, and it was nothing against the members. I had members on every tier and I appreciated every single one of them. But each tier had extra video perks that they would get that the public never saw. So I don't want to put myself in the position where I'm primarily working on membership content and not working on main content. I want to have my focus on main content and then the membership content be extra for the members. Not every day, all day, I'm doing membership content and then I'm kind of last minute doing my main content, if that makes sense. That's kind of the position I had put myself in before. When you do talk generally, a lot of it goes over your head because you don't spend your life on YouTube, and sometimes you have no clue what you're talking about. So what I'm talking about, so you can't follow it. Yeah, and I've gotten that criticism quite a bit, and that's why I want to kind of pull away from that kind of content, and I just kind of want to shift back towards more commentary. A lot of people like my commentary, so I think I'm going to primarily focus on that, but for me, there's only so much commentary that people can also digest. So random generalized videos will probably still be a thing. I don't know what other kind of content aside from commentary, like topic wise. Like I know there's the mommy vloggers there. I've done some commentary on some of them. And I know there's some channels that go overboard with that kind of content, and that's not my intent. But if people want me to talk about certain people or certain situations that they've either known about happening before or are current happenings, I guess this is more like, what kind of commentary do you guys want to see from me? What kind of topics do you want me to see me cover? And you guys know I'm not a huge receipt channel, but I do believe it is my intention anyways that I start to incorporate more of those style videos as I continue to do commentary and get more comfortable with putting receipts in, and not so much always make it just me talking, but where I'm like showing what I'm actually talking about, because I have the equipment and the ability to do that. I've just never sat down and really tried to figure that out. So as I shift a little bit, I'm going to also shift like the quality of my content and make it a little bit better. Hey, Skip, good to see you. Yeah, I've done get ready with me's and stuff like that. Hey, Miss Cassandra. Hey, Michelle. You could do early release for the members, then release it later to the public. That's one of the perks that I think I'm going to go with. And I think the main perks that I'm going to do, and why I think I'm only going to launch it probably at just one tier, is live streams, member only live streams. And I will do a members only poll to narrow down what days is going to work best for everybody and times that would work out best for everybody. So it's kind of like a general vote, so to speak. So I think I'm going to do those, and there will probably also be a discount that I offer for my business, because a lot of people have had interest in purchasing items. So if I can offer a discount if you're a member, I'm going to do that as well. And I don't want to, and there will be, aside from early access, there will be videos just that I will do for members, if that makes sense, like more personalized videos. You do not get me eating cupcakes and Hot Pockets. I actually don't. This is probably not a popular thing, but I really don't like Hot Pockets. I'm weird about microwavable red sauce. Like if you buy frozen spaghetti or lasagna or anything like that, we've all been there. We've all done that, especially when you're younger. It tastes really off to me, so I can't eat Hot Pockets because of that. I do like cupcakes though, but I am particular about what kind of cupcakes I'll eat. Yeah, I actually caught when Kimberly popped on with EKC last night, but I wasn't there for very long. I'm in the process of fixing my sleeping schedule. Going to Vegas really destroyed my sleeping pattern, and I've been working for like the past, pretty much since my mom left. I've been working to try and get it back on a good pattern. And in order to do that, I've been taking some melatonin gummies, and I had just taken them like 10 minutes before she went live. And usually within 30 minutes to an hour, they knock me out. So I couldn't stick around for the whole thing. You like the one tier idea. I think that that's the best way to start for now. Is there a link for my products? No, I probably should start to like put it in my description box somewhere. I'll put it in now. And I think I'm going to put the poll out for Monday's open discussion topics, probably after this live stream. And I think one of them I'm going to put like starting a small business or something about small businesses, because a lot of people seem to have some questions about not just like my small business, but how to start one, things to do. And I can talk about my experience from that. And I know several people who follow me and who are a part of my chats have their own businesses as well. And it would be a good time to promote each other, things like that. So, hey, Heather, you simply don't have the finances to join everyone. Yeah, and I understand that. I understand some people aren't going to be able to be a part of the members. And unfortunately, I faced that debacle when I first launched my memberships. And it's kind of a hard place to be. And that's why I had expanded my memberships so much, because I felt bad. But at the end of the day, I do kind of have to take my YouTube somewhat as a business. I'm not strictly looking at it as a business aspect, but I have to bear in mind that I kind of have to make some kind of decisions like that not everybody is going to be happy about. It's kind of like filming a video and publishing it. You don't know how people are going to receive the video. You don't know if they're going to agree with you or not, or if you're going to end up making a lot of people mad. You never know, but you still end up publishing it anyways and just hope for the best, right? So that's kind of how I've had to revisit launching them. You love Vegas? Yeah, Vegas was really fun. We did a lot. We did a lot in the short time we were there. You devoured Hot Pockets as a kid. You can't eat them anymore. I know I ate them as a kid, but I never really liked them. Got to get some work done. Okay, Jolly. I appreciate you being here. Fudge-covered Oreos. I don't like fudge-covered Oreos. The Philly cheesesteak Hot Pockets weren't that bad. I don't even know if I knew they made Philly cheesesteak Hot Pockets. I can tell you I've never tried them. It's been raining where you're at today. Grocery shopping's tomorrow. See, the mint Oreos is where it's at. Those are the Oreos that I prefer. Hey, Flutterbear, how about starting a YouTube channel? I'm looking into it, but it's a lot. I got confused. You know, I've talked about that like in live streams before when people have asked. I feel kind of weird being someone to, I don't know, talk about creating a channel just because I don't know everything. I'm still a relatively new channel and I'm constantly upgrading my equipment and stuff like that. So I'd be open to doing one. It will just be very basic though. Oh my gosh, you guys. You're going to eat all the salt and vinegar chips. I like salt and vinegar chips. I think we talked about that before. So I guess I kind of recapped what kinds of questions I wanted to talk with you guys about. So I'm going to go back and circle. If you guys could answer, I mean, Fluffy Bear said one video that they would like is maybe starting a YouTube channel. I should probably write this stuff down. So I guess I'm going to end up keeping this pen rather than selling it because it's the only pen that's up here that I see. This little, you can't really see it because it's focusing on me. Little glitter, white glitter pen. So what kind of, are there any topics or any specific thing going on that you guys would like to see me do in not a live stream, but in a video format? Because I think I'm going to continue. Recap Fridays have turned out to be pretty, I don't want to say successful, but you guys enjoy those where I put out my videos for the week. And then on Friday, we do a live stream and talk about everything that I talked about that week where we can actually have a conversation and discussion about it. So at the end of the day, we will talk about it together. But what topics or what YouTube things do you guys see that you would like to see my commentary on? Do you finish your salt and I don't know if I've had the salt and vinegar Pringles. I usually get the Lay's. Kimberly, I've actually made a couple of different videos about why I started my YouTube channel. And it's just kind of evolved. You know how the art channels show videos of them drawing, do a voiceover discuss. You could do that with crafting. I do not believe I am talented enough to do that. Oh, Miss Cassandra, I would not want to put that in a video. I'll talk about it with you guys here in a live stream, but I'm not going to put that in a video. It's not some fairy tale swept me off my feet kind of thing. It's definitely, our story does not go like that. where I am today and what I hope for in the future. No, it wasn't quite that situation either, Kimberly. I'll tell you guys here in a minute. I should probably ask if he's not going to care. So where do I really actually start? So I had been in not really a relationship because who I had been seeing would never commit. And I mean, I got married really young. We got married when I was 20, we were both 21, right? Yeah, hadn't quite turned 22 yet. So we got married when we were 21. For like the previous year, I had been dating. Like I said, dating's probably not, it's a loose term used when it comes to this individual. I had been seeing someone and I was madly in love with them for whatever reason. Because in hindsight, looking back, I don't know why. But things were not going well. So I was somebody growing up who always just wanted to settle down. I've always been like the monogamous type person I didn't always need a relationship, but when I was in a relationship, I dated somebody for them to be my forever person. And whenever things would start to happen that they weren't going to be my forever person, I would break it off. So, that was going on in the background. I had a very mutual friend. He was one of my best guy friends, and he happened to be one of my husband's best guy friends. And we had met in passing at the beach, and we didn't really talk to each other. He will tell you, he tells everybody to this day, he thought I was a bitch, which is fine. A lot of people think I am. I'm not very approachable in real life. So he kind of had a bad impression of me. Well, I had stopped seeing the guy that I had been seeing on and off and started dating this other guy. Terrible mistake, dating this gentleman. But I started dating this guy on a whim because my friend was dating his best friend. And this guy was, I'm not trying to be mean, he was a loser. One of the only guys that I've ever dated. There's been two guys that I've actually dated as an adult that I think back, like, were those my bad boy phases? Like, those were the two. They were not good people, but whatever. I dated this guy. He ended up getting kicked out of the army and he had nowhere to go. So he ended up moving in with us and things started to be real bad. I ended up dating this guy for 2 weeks. While I was dating this guy, our mutual friend was about to deploy. So when someone's going to deploy, like overseas, like, I don't want to say war deploy, but overseas to like Iraq or anything like that, Afghanistan, that's where he was going, over to that area of the world, that you throw a lot of parties. You hang out with everybody as a big hurrah before you go. So my husband and I both were at these events. Well, this person I was dating decided to throw a temper tantrum, and I essentially ended up kicking him out that night. And then I started going to all of these parties where my husband was at. And that's kind of how we met. And then, I mean, to be totally transparent, I'm not trying to trigger anybody. I was young. I had just started drinking. I got extremely inebriated one night and thought I was the life of the party and really just ended up making a butt of myself. But he took care of me. My husband did. And so the next day, I texted him that I appreciated it. And we just started talking from there. And then he was getting out of the dorms and looking for a house, and the lease that I was in was about to end. So it ended up being him and I, his brother, and the friend that we met through, as well as one of my friends, all started to rent a house in November. Was it November or beginning of December? So we had only known each other for like 3 weeks. We were pretty much dating almost immediately, 3 or 4 days after the night that he took care of me. We started to actually date, and then we moved in together. So we moved relatively quickly. We moved in together, and then for New Year's, he had too much to drink, and he came up to me and he said, "Well, would you marry me?" And I said, "Yeah, I would." He was about to deploy. My husband was about to deploy in a few months, and we knew that he was going to be deploying in a few months. And I said, "Yeah." And then the next morning happened, and I remembered everything because I wasn't intoxicated. And he said, "So what do you remember from last night?" I said, "I remember it all. What do you remember?" And he did actually remember. And then we got married in February, and we've been married for almost 10 years now. So that's our story. So not super exciting, but it's our story, and it is what it is. So you just turned 21 when you married your husband. Yeah, we had both been 21, and we turned 22 shortly after we had gotten married. You married at 19, divorced at 21, then met your current model and current model. Oh my gosh, Kimberly, you're so funny. And we've been together next month, 21 years. That's awesome. Did either wind up in prison? What, my bad boy phase? No, not that I'm aware of. The one that I kicked out just before I started dating my husband, he went back to where he was from, which was way far away. And I don't want to ever give too much information just in case. I highly doubt they're ever going to come across my channel, but just in case. They moved back to where they're from. The other one, these were the two, and the reason that I say that they're bad is one actually put their hands on me one time. Learned real quick not to do that. I may be tiny, but I'm extremely feisty. And the other one kind of, and I use this term seriously, he pretty much stalked me for several months. And just before we moved, he actually had, not just before, it was a few years before we moved, he showed up to where I worked. Not intentional. I worked at a zoo, and he had a child, and he was bringing his child to the zoo. And that was super awkward and not a fun experience. But as far as I know, no, neither one ever ended up in jail. But they did not have their lives together. Let's just say that, which, I mean, you really can't expect for much when you're in your early 20s. My expectations were pretty high. So we got married in February, and he ended up deploying in March and was gone for like 9 months. So he was gone. It was really weird. We got married, and then he wasn't there for almost the first year of our marriage. But I'm used to that kind of lifestyle, so it wasn't like a big deal. But it was still kind of a different dynamic. You remember the partying days, got so drunk once you ended up dancing on an elevated platform. Wow. I bet you did get tipped. That's hilarious. You either still do or you did have a ton of confidence. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Hey Britt, good to see you. Just toss in the occasional allegedly. I mean, people use allegedly as a shield, and I get it. I get it when you're doing commentary and you're talking about certain things, you almost have to just to CYA, but some people like every other word, or they'll say something and then they'll realize it could be problematic and they're like, oh, allegedly. And I'm just like, okay. Okay. Sometimes people do it just to be cringy. And I think that's funny. You were very, I mean, I think most people, not everyone, I understand some people don't, but I think everyone kind of has a few very interesting stories from if you ever did go through a drinking phase. Hey, Stitching with the Sisterlies. So that was our story. So I know we kind of got off track. Yes, I did work at a zoo. I worked at a zoo for 3 years. I did not work with the animals. Before anybody starts asking me questions about the animals, I did not work with the animals. I worked in guest services. So I was in management. So I worked like the gift shop, the restaurant, and I was the group coordinator. So I planned events for the, not like major events, that was for marketing, but like smaller events, school field trips, things like that. I scheduled all that stuff. So it was a really great experience. I missed that job and I missed the people I used to work with. I became really good friends with a lot of people in that job. You worked with animals later, YouTube animals. I mean, I'm going to choose not to make any further comments on that. Hey, Meemaw Dragon. You worked in a zoo, your first job. Wow, $1.10 an hour. That's crazy. So what other, would you guys be interested? Yeah, it's been triple digits where I'm at pretty consistently for the past week. It's really kind of gross. I'm inside quite a bit. Hey, Stina, good to see you. Hey, just oh my gosh. I hope your mom's okay. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like when somebody trips and they don't actually get injured and it's just the way that it happens is funny. I'm usually the one who's, luckily most people don't record me, but I'm the one that does stuff like that. I'm super clumsy. 140 a day. I don't know what the high was for me today, but if it didn't break triple digits, it was super close. She didn't hurt anything. That's good to know. It makes me not feel as bad for kind of giggling. So I guess I'm going to ask, since somebody did suggest it, do you guys want me to talk about the Gabby Hanna series that she's letting out? Like do commentary on that series? It's 97 now. Hot here in Washington. I know Washington State is getting extremely hot right now. I don't know where my weather app. I usually just ask Google, but I'm not going to do that because she'll say where I'm at, and I don't want to do that for obvious reasons. No offense, guys. So it's like one of those things. I was going to show my phone, but I can't. I'm one of those people with the iPhone that I put things in folders on my screen, and I have a couple of like unnecessary app folders, and I can never find apps like that when I want to. I found it. Yeah, it's really hot here still. It's upper 90s where I'm at right now. And it's almost 7 o'clock. You don't watch Gabby, you know of her. That's the extent. If you do, just be, yeah, I know, stitching with the sisterlies. Hey, Old Broad New City, good to see you. So it seems most of you guys are saying you kind of don't follow her, and yeah, the mental gymnastics, it is too much. It is too much. I had somebody on Twitter say that they wanted me to commentate on her series that she's going on, and I'd be open to it, but that's why I wanted to ask you guys, because if a large majority of you guys aren't really interested in it, then I would rather not take the time to review all of what she's going to put out and go over it piece by piece. There's a lot of other creators who I know are planning on doing that, including Hannah from Smoky Glow. So that's why I kind of wanted to ask you guys some of these topics. Someone else asked, and I said earlier, about MLM content. If you guys are interested in me covering MLM content, I will. There's just so many channels. So I feel like people kind of go to who they want to about MLM. Britt does a lot of MLM content. But if you guys would be interested in my commentary about that, I'd be open to it. And then I would have a follow-up question is, would you want me to talk about specific creators who push MLM, or would you want me to talk about MLMs as a general sense? Like one video, my opinion about MLM. Yeah, Britt kind of does. She is one of those channels that easily can cover just about anything and people are still interested. I'm kind of just trying to shift to primarily focus on commentary stuff. Now, I'm not saying like just commentate on problematic creators. I'm talking about commentary on just about anything. So I'm trying to figure out from you guys if there are specific creators that you want me to talk about, who are they? And if there's other things aside from creators like MLM stuff that you want me to talk about, if there's mommy vloggers. I know people have sent me emails about Trishalicious. I am going to do my research over this week to make a video about that. I've been wanting to go down and see everything there because people have sent me I've gotten emails from a couple of different people about that. Yes, correct, John. MLM, as you understand, MLM is basically a pyramid scheme. The problem is, yeah, it's technically multi-level marketing. The problem is people don't know the nuances between MLMs, and creators will push MLMs or will become a part of these MLMs and are kind of using their audience, and to a degree I don't necessarily feel comfortable saying the word scam without looking into a specific one, but oftentimes it comes off scammy to what they're doing to their audience to further add to their revenue and not even really be using the products. One thing, like for years, the skinny tea that influencers years ago were promoting, and I know it's still a thing, and there's different teas and different lines now, but there was a skinny tea that influencers were pushing, and they weren't even using the products, but they were pushing it as if they were to get their audience to purchase it. And they weren't even teas that actually had ingredients to help with weight. So it's super problematic. I'm totally comfortable making a video about it. I just kind of want to know, would you guys want like a general, these are my opinions about MLM, or talk about specific creators, or kind of do a combined longer video of both? Austin James, I'll say it for you. Scam, 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 scam. Yeah, they're misleading their audience big time. And I know there's a lot of creators who do that, and primarily in the mommy vlogging community from what I've seen. I may have to go ask Britt for some pointing me in the direction of some of the more concerning creators who engage in pushing MLM on their channel. You like hearing my opinion on current topics, using your education and background, maybe a different topic each week. I get where you're coming from. And maybe it'll be something that I do, like maybe a monthly thing that I'll do where we can talk about specific things. The problem is talking about my education and things like that in a general sense is really hard to do without feedback, knowing what kind of things, because being a social worker is a very general, I'm not a master's, I'm just a bachelor's. So it's very generalized. Talk about clickbait back in the day before we knew clickbait was a thing. Clickbait is still a thing. People are just more clever about it. Now what's kind of taken the place of clickbait is people using triggering words in their videos. Cheryl, if you hang out long enough, we can talk about that at the end of this. I don't want to include any kind of drama in the beginning of this live stream, just because I want it to stay somewhat consistent. Hey, Susan. You tried clickbait on your channel. How did it go for you? I've clickbaited one video. Well, people will call it clickbait, where I said I quit. I did quit. I quit my job, my 9-to-5 job. But I think people had assumed I was trying to allude to quitting my YouTube channel. You've seen a lot of them on TikTok. Are they making 6 figures as stay-at-home MLMs? Some of them are, especially if they have a large audience. Absolutely. Thank you, Sipspill. I appreciate. Oh, you were talking to Kimberly. Yeah, I like when people who I've thought about doing panels before, and maybe that's a question I'll ask you guys. They asked what you were drinking. That's funny. The clickbait is insane on many of the channels talking about the Depp versus Heard lawsuit. I mean, I'm not surprised. There really is. You can use clickbait in, like I did, not saying that I'm the best, but like I still talked about what my title was. But I think when you're clickbaiting something that's really serious, like the Heard versus Depp or Depp versus Heard lawsuit, it can be harmful. It can be harmful to people. Yeah, no, I know, just and that's why I've never done panels, because my opinion of people who do not people who do panels, but of panels, are the creator's going to be responsible at the end of the day. And having a panel, you never know what someone else is going to say. You never know if they're going to offend anyone, and you don't really have control over that. So I like the idea, because I've had people ask to do panels to talk about some things. And I've suggested before, like an off branch of my open discussion, to allow, if somebody wanted to talk about a situation that they've been in, to give them a platform and tell their story of whatever it is that they've been through, where they maybe learned an experience or something like that. But no one really, I had a few people reach out that they would want me to read it for them, and I would be open to that. There's not really been a whole lot of follow-up on that. And since then I've not brought it up again because not a whole lot of people were receptive to it. So I figured it was something that people just didn't want to do. And I know it's scary to sit on a platform and not know how many people are going to be there to hear you talk about something that you've experienced. So I get it both ways. You think Britt and I should talk? We've kind of talked about it before. Britt is a very busy lady. If she ever has the time for it, I would be down for doing one with her. We just haven't ever really revisited it before. The stream you did with Xylee you thought was good. Yeah, I don't necessarily consider those panels, though. I guess I could see where people would assume that they're panels. I more or less, to me, a panel is a creator opening up their platform for their subscribers to come on and talk. When it's something that's planned ahead of time with a specific creator, I view that more as a collab than a panel. And I think that's more of just like whatever your perception is of them. Hey, Sincere, how are you? You could do ask you and so questions where people send them in and then you just have one-on-one talk. I'm not sure I understand. What would your panel be about? I don't know. That would be another thing. Like I've briefly a while ago, I thought about opening panels for subscribers, but I chose against it because I know I'm liable for whatever is said. I am liable for what happens in my chats because I am the owner of this channel. So it just makes me feel hesitant to have panels, but I'm comfortable with pre-planned collabs, even if it were a subscriber. You could have house rules doing panels. Yeah, there's also, I could. That doesn't mean people are going to follow them, one. And two, there's so many channels that offer open panels for subscribers. I just don't know. It's something that I would have to continue to think about. I know I had more questions for you guys, and I just can't. I'm trying to think back. Do you guys have any feedback or criticism? And I mean that genuinely. Do you guys have any feedback for content I've done, future content coming, ways that I can improve my content or my delivery? Yeah, I could do something like that, Stina. Or a guest spot like Claire does, yeah, and schedule it ahead of time. I don't know. I'm writing stuff down just to maybe revisit. You watch for my style, you don't have it, and that's fine. I appreciate that. The only improvement you can think of is for me to be on more often. As far as what, Austin? Like more live streams or more content? Or both? Even the less just chat days are good. Where's my pups? They're in the living room with my husband. I typically keep this door shut unless he's not home and I'm filming or I'm live, then I'll leave it open, and that's when they'll come in here. Sometimes when you guys get passionate, you get to hear a cuss word. I think you guys would probably, if you heard me talk in real life, I don't know what people would think of me, to be honest, if you saw me not so polished. Because I've talked about this before, when I'm on live stream or I'm on sitting to record a video on a live stream, you guys have seen, I'm more likely to curse because it's pretty casual in my videos. It's rare that I curse. I'm also extremely sarcastic, and I omit that from my channel because a lot of people, even in real life, do not understand my sarcasm, and I have offended way too many people in real life with my sarcasm. So I've chosen to omit that from the majority of my content. I'm sure it slipped out a time or two, but you want more live streams. And I understand that. I understand people like the idea and like this kind of engagement where it's back and forth. I'm trying to level out my channel to where it's a good mixture of live streaming and of pre-recorded content, just videos. So I may start to be more open. I typically don't film or go live on the weekends. I usually take this time to be with my husband, but I want to take my channel a little bit more seriously than what I have been. And so I'm probably going to start doing some things on the weekends. Not every day, not every weekend, but I want to start having pretty regular videos going out, and on a day that a video doesn't come out, maybe doing a live stream with you guys. And again, I'm going to be relaunching my memberships probably this week, and some of my live streams will be just for the members only. So there will be a day every couple of weeks probably that I will carve out just for that. You like show support content creators because you don't deal with all go through being one, honestly. I don't know if I understand that comment, Sincere. Also sarcastic, you've lost account of number of times you've been called as, yeah. People just take my sarcasm the wrong way. People in real life, if you don't know me, I've gotten this feedback. It's hard to tell if I'm actually being sarcastic or if I'm being serious. So your sarcasm is intense. My sister is the one who, I was in high school when the RBF became a thing. I was in high school and my sister told me I had it. You have very dark humor. I have pretty dark humor as well. I also have, my dark humor leans more towards manly humor. I find a lot of things that men find funny where women wouldn't. You like the car chats? I probably will continue to do the car chats when I go do stuff. I'm not like a total homebody, but because my work now is my business and my YouTube, I have to be at home a lot. So it's rare that I actually go do stuff other than run a quick errand here or there. We told him he should start a channel. Oh, I always encourage and support everyone to start a channel. Just be aware of the negative sides to creating a channel. Just make sure you're prepared for that. If you're prepared for that and you're someone who can tolerate that, by all means, full steam ahead. You actually find yourself entertaining. You couldn't be a content. And, you know, that's awesome to have that kind of self-awareness. I've told a few people who asked to just assume I'm being sarcastic. You should take someone with you on car chat. The problem is there is nobody here. And I don't mean that for anybody to pity or feel sympathy towards me. But where we're at, we have not really made friends. Culturally, we are very different from a lot of the area we're in. And it's just hard. So we really haven't made friends here, which is okay. We've been fine with that. You know, family, whether it's his family or occasionally my family will come and visit and break it up. But we have each other, and my husband has asked to not be a part of my channel. So it's really just me. It's the only person I can do with. Cringy entertainment. I can't believe I said that. Yeah, Kimberly, can you make a video on starting a channel, pitfalls, and all that junk? Yeah. Earlier, it was asked for me to do a video about starting a channel. So I may just do one about being a content creator and how I started my like what equipment I started on and things like that. You couldn't do a channel alone. You needed your sister to bounce off of. Since you don't drive in Europe, you enjoy watching us drive. I feel like in most of my car videos, it's probably hard to watch because there's so many bumps and stuff in the road. If I'm going to continue to make those kind of videos, I probably should actually invest in a better car mount for my phone. You just started uploading on your channel. So far, it's been positive. You're nervous for the negative, but I'm sure it will come sometime. I mean, and that's the reality is, and you already have that mindset. You know it's going to come. Just prepare for how you're going to deal with the negativity. Starting a YouTube channel, the shit they don't warn you about episode 1. I mean, right? You could never do content channel. I will say, like, my crafting channel, which is totally different, is like an escape. Because all I'm doing is crafting and talking about what I'm crafting, and occasionally I'll talk about other stuff. But for the most part, it's just what I'm doing, and it's stuff that I would do anyways. So it's kind of like mindless relaxation while people will, if they join the live, they will chat with me. The only negative you get is trolls asking you on a date. Well, you know, at least you get those kind of trolls. I get a lot worse when I get trolled. If you ever did a channel you would want to co-host from a female perspective, that would be well-rounded. If you ever do a channel and you don't want a permanent co-host, you could line up several people in advance, females in advance. Because I know, Sincere, I don't know you that well. I know of you from other people talking about you and seeing you on other panels occasionally. But you have seemed to made friends with quite a few content creators, and I'm sure they would support you in that. Are you taking up crochet? You would love having you do a how to start a channel. It would be great to see how people start. Yeah, I'm going to do one of those. I'll do one of those probably this week for you guys. We've got a couple of ideas. I need to write down the other one so I don't forget. I'm taking a tip from Britt. I asked her recently how she manages to put out consistent content so regularly. That's something I have always struggled with. And she said she runs lists. I am not a list person at all. I can have a list and I will not go by it. But in good faith, I am making a list of everything we're talking about. So are there any... So I'm not going to do one on Gabby Hanna. I'm not going to do commentary on Gabby Hanna unless something outrageous comes from her series, and I would wait until all of them are out before I would talk about it. So unless something major comes out of that, I'm probably not going to talk about it. Are there any other specific content creators or situations or dramas that you want me to commentate on that you are aware of? Other than Trishalicious. I'm already going to be doing that one. Kimberly, you will be awesome at having a channel. Your humor will, it cracks people up in everybody's chat. So if you could translate that into any kind of content, you will be set. How do people figure out how to set up equipment? It looks like so much when you watch channel. When you watch, I started my channel with an iPhone. Yeah, lists help a lot of people, but I have ADHD, so it really kind of doesn't help. I will resort to a list that I have made, and then I make a different one, and then I make a different one, and it just ends up a mess. Hey, not another housewife. How are you doing? Yeah, kind of like Stina. I'm great at making them. I'm bad at using them. Let us know, Kimberly, whenever you do your channel. Brittany, are you talking about Free Britney? Britney Spears? Who is Trishalicious? She is kind of like Shani for Christ. Question, how do you deal with backlash? I ignore it. Do I cook? Yes, I cook. I'm not one of those wives that cooks every night, though, but I do cook. Different creators have different ways of dealing with backlash. I will, depending on the backlash I'm getting, and, I try to, it's not that I ignore it in the sense of I don't read it. I do read it because I do have pretty thick skin. So I will read pretty nasty comments about myself that are in my videos. I don't look for stuff elsewhere. And I try to look for the criticism within the comment. Because just because something's nasty doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a criticism there that you can't learn from. So I do try to look for criticism in pushback and backlash. But if it's outwardly negative or it's just straight up backlash, I'll read it and I leave some of it on my channel. If it's outwardly disgusting, I will delete it. I don't get that often. I honestly have only gotten backlash a couple of times. So I'm probably not the best content creator to ask about dealing with backlash because I really don't get much of it. And when I do get it, it doesn't bother me. I know me. I'm comfortable with me. I'm not saying I'm the most self-aware because we can all grow. We can all develop. We can all do better. And I know that. So someone being hateful to me, that doesn't mean somebody calling me disgusting or my opinion is disgusting or I'm ugly or I'm fat. Okay. You don't agree with my opinions, but you're asserting your opinions onto me, and that's fine. But they are your opinions. You don't know me in real life. It's not going to bother me. I'm sorry. It's not. I just don't roll like that. I know some people get very upset and wrapped up in negative comments that they get, but I'm just not one of them. Cook with me videos. I don't know if I would. how I have all my equipment set up, I don't know if I'd be able to do those. And I don't cook anything that spectacular. I think the only thing people would maybe be interested in, because anytime I make it, people get interested in it, is lumpia, which are Filipino egg rolls. Yeah, not another housewife. You're getting super close to your due date, correct? Watch Colleen exhibit her ADHD moments. I mean, Stitching with the Sisterlies, you watch my crafting channel. I'm sure you see mine kick in all the time on that channel. You would probably do a faceless avatar channel if you did one. Yeah, I understand that. And I know some people are like, some other content creators find avatared people sketchy. Why is it that deep? I just don't understand. To a degree, I understand their criticism about it, but why is it that deep? The most annoying one to me is you don't know what you are talking about. I mean, people have their opinions, and if they're stronghold in their opinions, I think people are stronghold in their opinions, but they're kind of wanting to see what someone else's opinions are, but you don't convince them enough to second guess what they're thinking, so they just feel that they have to insult you. Hate to drop her in your chat, but KJ is live and she's discussing you. About what? I haven't made a video on her in forever. She's on IG talking about Nat. How would I incorporate into Nat? See, that's what kind of bothers me as a content creator, when someone else talks about somebody who's remained out of it and relatively neutral, and I say one thing and people insert me into their drama. Especially if you lie about me. If you lie about me, a different side of me comes out. Why do people come into positive situations so negative? I think a lot of it currently is due to COVID. COVID was so stressful and took such a toll on so many that I mean this, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I think a lot of people during all of that became depressed. And when you become depressed, you think very negatively. And I think that's what's happened. I don't follow Katie on Instagram, and I know you can't go back on Instagram lives. I'm curious as to what kind of stuff she's saying. Just because we know how problematic she can be. And if she's telling the truth, or if she's inserting me into shit I don't want to be a part of. She probably saw I joined. I hate watching her. I'm not even listening to it. I'm just going to read. Hopefully one of the channels that catches her lives will record it and post some of it. It is what it is. I'm not going to get caught up in it. Why are people obsessed with being positive every second? I don't know if I understand what you mean. It's hard to lie about you. All they have to come to your channel. I mean, people do what they want to do. So, the toxic, the omitting toxic, so making change, being negative, just gonna make it even worse. Yeah. She showed an alleged email from Nat admitting everything other than hacking and stalking, I guess. So how do I fit into that? Did she actually say anything about me? And if so, how do I fit into that? Like, of all, this is what I don't understand about her. Of all the channels to mention, why me? I haven't really discussed her in forever. Why is it me that's mentioned? Why was it my chat she decided to come into and make an ass of herself? Why is it me? Why is it me? Why are you not mentioning all of these other channels who have been talking about this stuff for months? Hey, look, KJ got an email from Nat. She said you turned in screenshots. Please don't get mad at me. I actually hate when people do this, but I like you as a content creator and won't be bothered about it. Oh, no, I'm not mad at you. I'm just interested as to why I'm being brought into it. You get a lot when you're talking about someone or giving commentary. Be more positive. But these people don't even watch my positive videos. Or some people look for, we all are aware that people go for drama. People look for drama. So, and I've seen some of your videos, and I've also seen you interact in chat. So I know a little bit. I don't know you, and I'm not going to say I do, but I feel like I get a better representation of who you are, and you're just somebody who doesn't take shit. And when you come to an opinion, you're very strong, fast in your opinion. I'm not saying you wouldn't have like a calm, collected conversation with someone else if they had an opposing opinion, but your videos that I have seen that I think you may get some of those comments are where you're very much like, it's my way or the highway is how they come off. And I think when some people don't know how to take that kind of personality, I think it's more of a personality conflict than you're doing anything wrong, if that makes sense. What's interesting is if she's showing it, like I can see her live and she's showing screenshots. So how am I've not sent anything to Katie. I've not sent anything to Katie. I don't care about Katie. We're not going to talk about her. I'll figure out if she said anything important about me where she's outwardly lying or anything like that, it will get back to me because somebody's going to tell me eventually. So I'm really not going to be worried about it. She's mad I didn't take her bait. I mean, whatever. She can live on her own little island. I'm not worried about it. Well, if she said I sent her screenshots, that's incorrect. I have not talked to her. The last time I DM'd her was when she crashed my chat. And I was polite and I didn't release the DMs. I'm a little bit more mature than that. So Are there any other topics? I'm going to get back on track so we can hop off of here. I didn't realize I had been on for over an hour. Are there any other topics that you guys want me to talk about? We have creating a channel, like general sense, some of the pitfalls of when you are creating a channel, a journey video from like where I am today to what I want to be in the future, MLM content, like a general census, and maybe talking about specific creators that engage in it. I'm going to do the Trishalicious video. We're not going to do Gabby Hanna, like I said, unless something really controversial comes out and I feel that I want to talk about it. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to. So if you guys have any, or anybody who watches this in the replay, leave them down below. You can always email me or reach out to me on Twitter. I leave all of that stuff tagged in my description. And then the final thing is I am going to be relaunching memberships. I just have to iron out what all I'm going to include and what I feel would be a fair price for people to get all of that. Yeah, but I get that. Not another housewife. And a lot of people like I said, I don't know if you like people to call you by your channel or your name. So let me know if you prefer one over the other, if you don't care. But I get stuck when it comes to the commentary community, not about making videos, because I'm always open to making commentary videos. I get stuck on what topics should be talked about that people want to hear from me, because there's always so much going on all over the place that I get lost in the sauce on trying to decide what I want to, because I feel kind of neutral on most. I think you guys can tell that from my commentary. I'm pretty neutral across the board when it comes to drama and situations. I can usually see it from both both points of view. So I get lost in trying to decide, should I talk about this stuff? Because some of it I catch part of, but I don't know in depth, and I have to do my research. So that's kind of where I get stuck. I would prefer to say Marissa just because it's easier than not another housewife, but some people are weird about saying what you know them as and how they say their name is in their videos, if that makes sense. So I try to respect people and just say their username unless they tell me I can call them something different. Something Gabby Hanna related. Any clue why suddenly Tipster is going hardcore against T channels? 2 lives in 2 days. I haven't watched his live streams. From when I have seen that he's live, I'm usually watching a different live that I am more interested in. That's no offense to Tipster. I think some things have been said about him and other channels that he's bothered by, and so he wants to just call out all of the T channels. Also, he's also including, I believe he's including like Dustin Daly, Nick Snyder, Angelica Oles. He's including any kind of drama channel or commentary drama channel being labeled as T channels, and maybe some of them fall under that definition. It really depends on how you view each one, on where you're going to categorize a channel. But Tipster is somebody who, from what I have seen, I don't know him really well. I've seen some of his content and I've really agreed with him and really liked it. And the content that he makes that I'm probably not going to be too into is stuff that I don't watch. So I think from what I've seen is he pretty much feels his way. And I'm not saying he wouldn't be open to other opinion, but he almost feels he has to defend where he's coming from. And he takes a lot of controversial things, and he almost in most cases, he's in the minority group. Like with this Gabby Hanna stuff, he keeps tweeting out for Gabby Hanna, to support Gabby Hanna or whatever. A lot of people do not agree with that and have done the hashtag support Jessie Smiles as like a counter production. And I think because of all of that going on and people not really wanting to hear him out because people just don't want to, it's becoming hard for him to not just kind of fight back. Do I think it's necessarily fair to group an entire niche or entire genre of YouTube creators because some of them are pushing back on your opinion? Not necessarily, but that's part of the commentary community. It's going to happen. I haven't watched his lives in the last couple of nights. Yeah, we were talking about Tipster. I was answering a question. So, all right. With all of that being said, like I said, if anybody has any ideas or things that you see, please, if you're ever interested in what my opinion is, feel free to DM me or email me. I take a little bit longer to get back to emails than I do DMs, but I do check them every couple of days. So that's always an option for those who may watch the replay or those who are here who have been a part of memberships before. That is coming back. It'll likely come back sometime this week, and I'll announce it when it does. But I think I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. And I won't be live tomorrow. I'm likely going to release a video tomorrow that I filmed yesterday. And I'm just going to say sorry in advance for that. But it is what it is. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you for coming and giving me some feedback. Thank you for anyone who watches the replay and leaves any feedback or just comments for the algorithm. I appreciate you all. And I hope you all have a good rest of your Saturday and that you have a good Sunday. Bye, guys.